Most people believe the mind lives only in the brain. But Joe Dispenza teaches something radically different, that your entire body is the mind. Every cell has memory. Every reaction, every emotional pattern, every physical response is a program stored not in thought, but in muscle, chemistry, and habit. The body becomes the subconscious. You might think you're making choices, but most of what you do today is a replay of yesterday. Science shows that by the time we reach our mid-30s, 95% of who we are is a set of memorized thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. You wake up and think the same thoughts, feel the same emotions, perform the same routines, and your body becomes the autopilot. The conscious mind says, "I'm going to change," but the body whispers, "I don't think so." That's because the body has been trained to be the mind. Joe says, when the body has been conditioned to the same mind for years, it becomes addicted to familiar emotions. Stress, worry, anger, they become chemical comfort zones. Even if you want peace or joy, your body seeks what it knows. You try to think positive, but the body remembers fear. You affirm abundance, but your gut tightens with old scarcity. You meditate for calm, yet your pulse races because the subconscious believes survival equals safety. This is why change feels so hard. You're not fighting laziness, you're reprogramming chemistry. The moment you decide to step outside that familiar emotional state, the body sends signals that feel like resistance, discomfort, doubt, agitation. That's withdrawal. Your body is craving its old emotional drug. Joe teaches that the key is not to suppress the feeling, but to stay conscious through it. When the body throws a tantrum, go back to the old you. You breathe, you stay aware, and you remind yourself that discomfort is not danger, it's transformation. You are literally teaching your body that a new mind is in charge. He often says when you teach your body to emotionally experience the future before it happens, you're reconditioning the subconscious. That means instead of reacting to the past, you begin rehearsing a new emotional reality. Gratitude before the success, love before the relationship, freedom before the money. Your body starts to memorize those emotions as normal. Once the body believes it, your future no longer feels foreign, it feels familiar. This isn't wishful thinking, it's neuroscience. A brain scans show that mental rehearsal activates the same neural networks as the actual experience. The body doesn't know the difference between a memory and a deeply imagined event. So when you combine clear intention with elevated emotion, you're giving your body a new blueprint, one that matches the frequency of your desired reality. Think of it like training an instrument. Every thought is a note, every emotion a vibration. For years, you've been playing the same song of survival, anxiety, control, judgment, fear. But when you begin feeling love, gratitude, and wholeness, you're teaching your body a new melody. The heart opens, the brain synchronizes, and the field around you changes tune. Joe tells the story of people healing chronic illnesses by simply changing their inner state. They stopped reliving the trauma and began rehearsing gratitude and wholeness every day. Within weeks, biological markers shifted. The body followed the new program. Because once the subconscious accepts a new emotional signature, it starts signaling new genes. Your biology literally upgrades. So how do you reprogram the body-mind connection? Joe offers 3 steps. First, become aware of the old self. Notice your triggers, your tone, your posture, your recurring emotional loops. Don't judge them, just observe. Second, interrupt the pattern. The moment you feel yourself slipping into an old emotion, pause. Breathe deeply, place your hand on your heart, and bring your attention to the present moment. Third, replace it with the new state. Choose a feeling that represents your future, love, joy, gratitude, and hold it long enough for the body to memorize it. At first it feels forced. The old self will whisper, "This isn't real." But repetition is mastery. Eventually the body learns the new emotional truth. Joe says when you feel it enough times, you become it. The body begins to crave coherence instead of chaos, presence instead of predictability. This process turns your entire being into a biofeedback system of awareness. You start noticing how certain thoughts make your chest tighten or your stomach sink. You realize the physical consequences of your emotions. That awareness alone begins to free you. Because you can't change what you don't notice, and once you see it, you're no longer unconscious. Joe explains that the body has three brains: the head, the heart, and the gut, each with its own neural network. When they align, you enter coherence. When they conflict, you feel stress. So reprogramming isn't just mental, it's full body integration. You're teaching all three brains to speak the same emotional language. He also reminds us that meditation is not about escaping the body, but retraining it. When you sit still and bring awareness to your breath, your thoughts, and your sensations, you're reclaiming authority. Every time you calm a racing heart or relax a tense jaw, you're telling the subconscious, I'm safe. The nervous system learns to trust stillness, and from that state, new possibilities become accessible. Many people try to create their future while feeling emotions from the past, frustration, lack, or fear. But the frequency of the past cannot create the future. Joe calls that fighting the old self in the same energy that created it. Instead, you must become emotionally equal to your vision. Feel it now, because the moment you do, your body begins living in that reality before it arrives. Over time, the familiar future becomes stronger than the familiar past. You stop waking up in survival and start waking up in creation. The body that once anchored you to limitation becomes the bridge to expansion. That's the miracle of neuroplasticity. Your biology becomes the proof of your belief. Tesla once said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Joe teaches us to feel in those terms. Your body is the antenna. Every cell is listening. So what signal are you sending today? One of fear or one of freedom? Remember, you're not stuck with your personality. It's just a set of programs. The same way you trained your body into stress, you can train it into peace. The same way you memorized pain, you can memorize joy. The subconscious isn't your enemy, it's your greatest ally once it learns to trust the new you. When thought, emotion, and action align, your body stops being the record of the past and becomes the map of your future. That's when you move from knowing the path to becoming the path. You don't just visualize the life you want, you embody it. And as Joe often says, when the body is no longer the mind, that's when the mind becomes unlimited. So today, notice your body. Notice where it reacts, where it resists, where it repeats. Then breathe, smile, and remind it who's in charge. Because freedom doesn't begin in the brain, it begins in the body. The subconscious that's finally remembering how to listen to your soul.